Hey, what is up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you are all doing well. So in today's video, I wanted to have a raw and open conversation to talk about my current challenges that I face within this past week of trading. As always, these videos are not scripted or edited or anything like that, just the way it is, and let's jump right into it. So there's two main points that I wanted to talk about for this week. The first one was the mind games that I've created for myself when I talk about the amount of time left in 2025. So going into discussion for this point, I've said it a few times on social media. I've also said it a few times in IRL, but the simple truth is we do have time in 2025. There's so many more days left in the year. So there's a lot of time to be able to adjust, to lock in, to prepare for 2026. But in essence, I've made this mind game in my head where by the end of 2025, by the time we start 2026, I should be at this level. And obviously, I don't think it's a bad idea to have goals. I don't think it's a bad idea to have something to push you towards greatness or something to, kind of motivate and push me to keep on trying and keep on going. However, what I didn't realize that was coming from this was, yes, I'm pushing myself towards this next level, but the amount of games that I've started to create and the amount of stress and pressure and anxiety that I've started to create on my shoulders by trying to obtain this said goal has kind of hindered me in ways, like I said, that I didn't see to start. So again, I will reaffirm that yes, there's still time in 2025, but there's always going to be time to grow as not only a person, but more specifically as a trader in your journey. There's no specific amount of time in the world that can determine how long it will take you to become a super consistently profitable trader. Everyone is literally on a different path, and everyone literally has different factors in their unique personal life that can help determine or make things harder or easier in their trading journey. So we all go through very similar struggles, whether it's trying to stick to one strategy, if it's, trying to figure out the right risk management approach, trying to understand ourselves as a trader. It's also the constant need of validation within ourselves, whether it's for ourselves or a social validation piece. It's just trying to affirm that we are not failures if we do end up actually failing on that day of trading or something. So there's a lot of similar struggles that we all participate in. However, what actually happens within that unique experience is, again, unique with that trader themselves. So for me, I've been trading, it will be 3 years at the end of November. So I'm about to hit 3 years as a trader in the futures market. And that's so crazy. Time has just flown for me. Who would have thought that I would still be sticking to this darn thing for so long? I mean, it just blows me away. I don't know what makes me, okay, I do know what makes me show up every single day for it, but it just blows me away that I've continuously showed up for myself. I can easily say I have consistency with showing up no matter what, but there's a lot of other things that I need to work on, building consistency in, which I'm going to talk about in the second part of this video. So anyways, this point I'm making for my challenge I've created in my own mental mind games is that I tell myself I need to reach this next high level of consistency and this next high level of profitability by the end of 2025, by the start of 2026. But in reality, I don't need to get there by that time frame. I have all the time in the world. It could take me another year. It could take me 2 weeks. It could take me 6 months. However long it's going to take me to get there, that's how long it's going to take me to get there. At the end of the day, obviously, I'm the only person that can actually take me there. No one else can push the buttons on the mouse for me or my laptop for me every day that I trade. No one else can really, I'll say, direct me to get me there. Obviously, there could be educational courses, there's mentorships, there's things you can learn from people, free resources, all the things. But at the end of the day, like you, aka myself, we are accountable for our own things that we do. So no one is going to babysit me every single waking moment that I'm trading to get me to that next level, that goal that I'm aspiring to reach. So the fact that I kept telling myself I need to get there by this amount of time, I was just creating this extra stress that I didn't need. So I think it's best sometimes for me to lay off of speaking so publicly about the goals that I have in mind, and also more importantly, to lay off on trying to create such huge goals in such a short amount of time and expecting myself to get there. And then if I don't get anywhere close, I beat myself up for it. Instead, I should at least try to shoot for the stars. There's nothing wrong with that because obviously anywhere that you shoot above from where you are towards the stars, your goal, that's still growth in my opinion. But it's the second part of not beating myself up if I don't reach that said aspiration or that said goal. It's still giving myself grace that I tried. It's giving myself grace that I at least got off the ground and I made some type of growth or leeway towards that goal. So it's definitely a mental shift that I'm trying to have because I've created such ugly mental games and mental stress that I didn't need. So basically, overall, there's a lot of time in the world to be a trader. There's no set amount of time it will take to become super consistent and also super profitable. It's all depending on everyone's unique actions in their unique trading journey. And I always have to remind myself that. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about in the video, and also a challenge that I was kind of unraveling this week. And then the second conversation piece I wanted to talk about was the idea of, or not even idea, but the fact that I'm the only person that's holding myself back from getting to this next level of success, this next level of higher consistency, this next level of higher payouts and profits and all that stuff. I'm literally the only thing holding me back. And it's so unbelievably frustrating, so stupidly frustrating to know this. And I think a lot of you guys can understand where I'm coming from. I posted this on X, posted this on YouTube, and the amount of relatability I received from this is outstanding. But more importantly, it just not only like validates how I feel, not that I was looking for it, it's really just posting because I needed to like vent things out, but also it was this chance to understand how other people either combat it, or these other people, how they've worked through it, or like how it's affecting them. And for me, I just hate the fact that there's so many ways to fix the quote unquote problem. It's me, right? If I just disappear, I'll be fine. No, but like for real, like there's so many different ways that I can combat this issue and make things more smoother for me, make it more simpler for me. And yet every single time I always do the wrong thing or end up not executing properly. And I just don't really show up for myself the way that I need to show up for myself. So yes, I do have consistency in showing up for the charts. I have consistency for showing up for my trading session. I have consistency with being able to understand and be self-aware of where my head is at, where my emotions are at. What I do not have consistency is always following my strategy after my first or second trade. What I struggle with having consistency is the risk management part and keeping my contracts at a certain number or not exceeding a certain amount. What I have trouble in for consistency is not always regulating my emotions. I can be aware of what I'm feeling and I can understand what I'm feeling, but regulating them is also another piece of that puzzle to get the emotions fully managed, in my opinion. So these three main kind of pieces that I just discussed, if I could get these under wraps and have better consistency with them and have more just, I don't know what the word is, but just get it better under control, I guess, get it better under management, I feel like things could like genuinely get even better. You know, October was a great month. It was very eye-opening with the lessons that I've had, but also in the growth that I had. September was also a great month with not only the kind of growth that I had and the lessons that I had, but also the payouts too. So there's still time in 2025. There's still time in the rest of my journey to figure things out and to grow that said consistency. However, nothing changes if nothing changes, you know, and I just beat myself up whenever I do the same thing sometimes, like this past 7 days of trading or like this past week. It was me showing up in the morning, doing well for the first or even second trade, and then whether it was a win or loss, right? But then it was after when I didn't have the proper execution of following my strategy again for the third trade or the fourth trade and trading more than I needed to. It's literally related to the video I posted last week talking about trading more than you should when you're not having the right requirements in place. So I guess we can just tie that last video into this week's too. Still something that I'm also struggling with, and I need to fix it. Because if I don't fix it, then again, I'm just going to continue to get in my own way. And it would be the same repeated message every single week. And I just don't want that. One, it's embarrassing because obviously like there's no growth in a way for that. And then two, it's frustrating because it's just going to hinder me from reaching that next level that I keep aspiring myself and envisioning for myself to be at. So yeah, those are the two main points that I wanted to share for this week's conversation. And the goal on this channel is to have more of these weekly updates to talk about some of the struggles that I face or even accomplishments that I'll have. And I do have some more other content ideas that I will be recording and filming and editing and doing all that stuff for the channel and even doing more. I just really want to hold myself even more accountable through my YouTube and use it as a way to drive me, to literally force me to, one, not look stupid in front of our community because it's embarrassing, and then two, to be able to relate to people when they go through their trading journey and talk about these things and show the ups and downs, because it's going to happen, right? But the fact that we can all relate to each other and connect with each other about these things that we struggle with or these things that we are winning in, I think it pushes us as a team literally to do better. And what I found is I do well within teams. Like growing up, I was in team sports, like within high school. I was on the volleyball team, and being with my girls and all of us, pushing each other during practice, pushing during the games, having that companionship, having that teamwork and that strong will to kind of get each other going and holding each other accountable. It was a beautiful thing. And I felt like I thrived a lot because of that. So with what I'm hoping to accomplish with my YouTube moving forward, I do hope that I can instill that type of energy. And again, if I could push myself hard enough, maybe we could push each other hard enough and we can get to that next level. So we'll see what happens. The rest is up from here, I hope. But I do literally appreciate all of you. I appreciate your time and support. And as always, I wish you nothing but the best and the most success in all that you do. And I will see you all in the next video or in the upcoming live streams.